Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We've got our first look at painted models for Star Wars Shatterpoint's Star Wars Rebels characters. Probably the most anticipated expansions to ever come out for Star Wars Shatterpoint, and they're coming out in July. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that came out of Gamma and some of the recent previews, including the Death Trooper and Dark Troopers as well. So a lot of Shatterpoint stuff. I'm going to focus on some of the highlights because there's been a lot that's been spoiled lately. I'm going to focus on the things that I think are most interesting. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Leave a comment. That's going to enter you to win that $25 Amazon gift card. That's going to run for about another week, so you got time left to enter to win that one. We're doing giveaways a lot more. We just did one a couple of days ago, and we're doing another one. So plenty of time for that. Also, links to social media are down in the video description. And if you like the video, share the video, subscribe, click that bell for alerts, all that good stuff. It does help me out, and I would definitely appreciate it. So, we've got the Stronger Than Fear pack. Now, this means that our Star Wars Rebels Ghost crew are not all coming in one pack. You're going to have to get them separately. 3 here, 3 in the other pack. But we do see Kanan, Ezra, and Zeb in this pack. So this is going to be a very, very good pack to have. Although I don't imagine too many people would be buying just one of these packs. I really would have preferred if they'd have just put them all, in one pack. Even if it's going to be $50 for only 3 miniatures, then charge $100 for 6 miniatures. I don't care. Because it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Feel like maybe this was a decision made for the box size, because putting 6 miniatures in one box might have been more difficult. I'm not sure, but they already have larger boxes for the You Cannot Run pack, so I don't know. I'm curious, why they did it this way. It takes up a little more, shelf space on stores this way, but not a whole lot more. So I guess it's not really that big of a deal. But we are going to be getting Zeb, Ezra, and Kanan here. They have painted models. These are coming out in July. Interesting thing about July here, as is the next pack, the Make the Impossible Possible with Chopper, Hera, and Sabine Wren, who are going to come in this pack. The thing I think is really interesting about a July release date is that these are, it's going to mark it over a year since they were announced at Adepticon. And that's interesting, because that means when we get news at Adepticon, it doesn't mean that this stuff will be out soon. It doesn't mean that this stuff will be out before the following Adepticon. I mean, we already had last year's Adepticon where these were announced. Then we had Mini Stravaganza where they just teased a little card art. So, we didn't realize it, but when they showcased these at Adepticon, that was really far out, because it was going to be this coming Adepticon, and these still won't be out for a few more months after that, with July having them go up for pre-order. It doesn't even mean that they're going to come out in July. They may not be out until the, September or something like that. So, yeah, very, very interesting stuff with these guys. They had Gamma that's been going on, which is a big, a big kind of convention for retailers and stores, and it's a big market thing. So it's not really like a fan convention; it's more like an industry convention. But it's pretty cool. You might see some screenshots and stuff floating around. There's been a lot of other cool stuff too. The Han Solo's Real Quiet squad pack. Also, we've kind of already seen a little bit about from this one. They had spoiled this one even before they spoiled the Ghost. But this one will go for pre-order in June, so this one will be out a little bit sooner. And there's also a Never Tell Me the Odds mission pack. It looks a lot like the last mission pack we've got. It's we can't really see a whole lot, but it's got it's got the same layout as the last pack as far as where the objectives seem like they're going. So there's definitely more on the text of the cards, and there's damage tokens that come with it. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait until we, get a little more information on that one. I'm hoping it's a little more combat-oriented, because I'd like to be able to have the option to play missions in Shatterpoint that are a little more combat-oriented. And speaking of combat-oriented, look at these guys. Look at these Dark Troopers. This is from yesterday's news dump. They put out an article spoiling these guys and the Death Troopers that are going to come in that Moff Gideon's "You Have Something I Want" pack. This is a strong pack. So the Dark Troopers are 4. So there was some debate on whether they're going to be 5 points or 4 points. They are a 4-point support, which makes them a little more flexible. I'm surprised that they're a 4-point support. You mean you're getting 2 models for 4 points, and they're strong. They are very strong. So they have 8 health, 2 stamina. They are droids and Galactic Empire. The droid synergy here could be very interesting as well. And that's something that makes me kind of like, you may be pairing these guys with droids. I don't know if that's going to be the best option, but it could be. It definitely could be. So they have jump boots. Does allow them to jump for a force. They have coordinated fire for strain. So you can make somebody bleeding when another Empire unit is making an attack. They have the most impressive keyword I've seen on a support. Immovable. Maybe one of the most impressive keywords in the whole game. Characters in this unit cannot be pushed or pulled by abilities. They just, I mean, I was like, I looked at this and my first reaction was, wow, that's I don't. It took me a while to come up with like a way to try to express myself for this one. I think it's a strong ability. I think it's a really strong ability. Now, my first thought was like, well, if this whole game is about pushing people off objectives and these guys are immune to it, these guys are really game breaking. But they only have 8 health. So you'll just have to kill them, and then it doesn't matter if you can't move them because they'll just stay right there, and and that works. Unless, of course, you pair them with droids, and you have things that are possibly allowing droids to attack again, and things. Well, there's a lot of different combinations that you could work in with these guys. Healing might also be really good tech to pair with these guys, because if they're immovable and your opponent's going to focus on damage rather than pushing, and then their supports are one of the few units in this game that actually can potentially die. Especially if they're immovable, you may want to activate them to take a point. So that's definitely something. But they also have protection. They have Unrelenting, which gives them protection and immunity to pinned, which is also really cool. So they have some pretty good mobility. They can't be pinned, so you can't slow down their movement. You can't push them back, and also they have -1 damage from the damage pool when they're attacked with protection. So a really strong unit, and I think healing is the direction I would probably want to go with these guys, rather than trying to find droid synergies. Although maybe you could get a little bit of both. That's possible. Here is their stance card, the combat programming. Now they have range 5, which they don't, which is cool. They have 6 dice for ranged and melee, and 5 defense dice. They've got a pretty solid abilities all around. For 1 expertise, they can get a block and also turn a critical into a hit. Even 1 or 2 expertise is really good on them. They have Crushing Punch and the Dark Trooper Blaster with a single ranged expertise gives them 2 extra strikes, which is also pretty good. They can push on a single success, which is pretty darn good. They can reposition, well, not reposition, but they can get a free jump on a 3rd success or a 2nd push on a 3rd success. And they have the option of doing a decent amount of damage and other status conditions. So, they seem like they are very, very good at the game, at pushing opponents and not being pushed themselves. Very nice looking stance card. Just overall, really strong unit. Maybe one of the best supports in the whole game. Then we have the Death Trooper Secondary. So single Death Trooper. I wonder if this means we won't see like Death Trooper supports at some point. Although I think we could potentially do that. I think there's room for them to do Death Trooper supports. The Death Trooper Secondary is a single Death Trooper. They're a Death Trooper, a Galactic Empire, and they count as a Stormtrooper also, which is interesting. 9 health, 2 stamina. They do have a tactic at the top there, Imperial Efficiency. Well, I'm pointing up there, over here. Yeah, Imperial Efficiency. At the start of this unit's activation, choose this unit or an allied galactic empire supporting unit. So it's not both, it's just one or the other. Each character in the chosen unit may dash. If the unit has any damage, each character in that unit may instead advance. Which, again, if you make your Death Troopers like just like, oh, they're just gonna, or rather your Dark Troopers just like that's just really good. That's really good. Tactical advance. You can pay a force. Each character in this unit may dash. If he dashed, you can immediately make a focus action. Focus is going to be good because he has sharpshooter, so you get an extra die if you're going to do that ranged attacking. He's got disciplined. After an attack targeting this character in this unit is resolved, if he wasn't wounded, he can use this ability. Each character in this unit may advance towards an active objective, and after the move is resolved, if he's not engaged, he gains a hunker. So you shoot him, he gets to be like, oh, I'm going to just run towards the objective, which it can be any active objective, so that could mean running away, or could mean running kind of out of line of sight, as long as it's towards an objective. And getting a free hunker token is also good. And it's an advance, so you have a lot of flexibility with that. And you have rigorous training here. Characters in this unit have protection. Again, it'd be tough to kill, tough to kill characters. You gotta go for the big shots as opposed to the death by 1,000 cuts. And then Sharpshooter 1. So Death Trooper looks good. I'm really more impressed with the Dark Trooper. Death Trooper has the following combat tree. Again, a good expertise chart, especially for one. Whether it's melee or ranged, they're getting 2 strikes for a single expertise on melee and ranged, which is good. Their defensive is just okay, but they're rolling 7 dice for ranged and 7 dice for melee, which is also impressive, and also can push on a single success and get a second push on a third success. Overall, pretty good. You have basically a big, the bottom one is playing the game, and then the top one is actually trying to kill people. So good bottom track there. And again, if you're going up against certain, maybe killing people, maybe damage is going to be a little more significant in that next mission pack. So pretty cool stuff. A lot of interesting stuff that will be on the table for Shatterpoint when it comes to the end of the month. When we get to Adepticon, there'll be even more. But it's interesting to me that they are splitting up the Shatterpoint Star Wars Rebels Ghost Crew into 2 separate packs. Is probably the most interesting thing to me. But, I guess it just fits the existing box size. And, if you got a box size and a box design concept that's already approved, maybe it makes sense to go with it and to stick with that formula. Although they are kind of getting away from 4 minis in a box and kind of changing it down to 3 minis in a box. But I don't mind that as much because it means we get to run the entire Ghost crew together as one, and I think that that's a pretty cool thing. So I am here for it. And that's our news for Shatterpoint. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this whole channel possible. We'll talk to you more in the future. We'll see as new news comes out. I'll be bringing it to you. I want to thank you guys again, and may the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Always wash your socks. And have a wonderful and magnificent day.